Hi friends, I'm back again with another set of emotional hygiene and mental health. Today I'm very happy and blessed that I'm in the august company of Professor Yaron Ziv from Israel. It is Dr. Yaron Ziv's love for our country, love for India that gets him every year after year to India. Professor, 13 years already?
12 years in a row.
12 years
yes.
already.
Twice a year.
Twice a year. Awesome. And today I get this opportunity to be in the august company of Professor who's a clinical psychologist, a master psychotherapist, a certified Gestalt therapist, and also a certified CBT, cognitive behavioral therapist. So we have lots of questions. The world is full of mental health issues, and today I'm going to delve a little bit deeper into what Professor Ziv does. So first of all, welcome Professor.
Thank you so much.
I feel blessed. I will say thank you, dhanyavad for being in India and helping us to understand what lies in the realms of our mind. Also, it's a pleasure to host you for the last 2 days and I feel absolutely blessed. Moving on in the conversation, let's know a little bit of yourself, what kind of work you do and what gets you to India year after year.
Well, first of all, I'm a clinician, so I have private practice. I do work with individuals, with couples, with young people. And second, I'm a lecturer at the university, so I give lectures and I do workshops. I do conduct workshops.
Oh, that's nice.
And that's what I teach on. So
Okay.
my specialty is group work, group dynamic, and I teach people to become facilitators.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So you've had a 2-day workshop right now in Mumbai.
yes.
And what was that workshop all about?
It is what we call the experiential workshop on Gestalt therapy. And people come really to enhance their awareness. People come to learn about themselves in an experiential way. Meaning to say that Gestalt therapy is a very special therapy that more in a process mode. We feel, we experience. It's a body psychotherapy. Everything is in the body. So when I teach and when I do work with people who are just in a workshop, we deal with different issues: self-esteem, relationships, all kind of fears and anxiety, a lot of issues about anxiety and stress.
Okay.
However, there is a possibility of teaching and lecturing, which of course make the knowledge.
Correct.
However, experience get us into awareness. And awareness is an essential key for change. When we know, it's nice.
What is it? Awareness is
It's
the
an essential key for change.
Oh.
It's so different because when we know, I mean, you can read in a book and you will have knowledge,
Correct.
but it doesn't mean that change is going to occur.
True.
It's nice when we
So the
learn.
moment you internalize it,
Exactly. The moment of awareness, that's the essential key for change. Sometimes it's not sufficient for change, but without being aware, we walk like blind. So, and we are blind in that sense. I am doomed to repeat my behavior again and again and again. Freud used to call that repetition compulsion.
correct.
Meaning that we repeat the behavior without being able to change it. The only way to make changes is to take responsibility. The only way of taking responsibility is becoming aware. So the three concepts of Gestalt therapy is awareness, responsibility, and make choices.
Okay.
So that's
Once
what I
again,
teach
it
people.
is awareness, responsibility, and then eventually leading to making your choices.
Exactly.
Okay. So this therapy basically, the name sounds very German.
It is. Gestalt is a name in German, which means the whole frame. And the whole frame comes from cognitive psychology. Because the way our mind operates is by Gestalt. For example, we tend to complete a Gestalt in our head. If I, for example, meet you
Correct.
and I see you wearing an Indian custom.
Okay.
But I don't know what it is. My mind wants to inquire what it is, why it is like this.
True.
And my mind wants to complete the gestalt by getting more information. If I don't get the information, I create it in my head. Like I said.
So it's your fantasy which creates it?
Yeah, exactly. That's how we work.
Okay.
All jokes are like this, all stereotypes are like this, or prejudice is like this. We cannot tolerate missing pieces in gestalt. We need to complete the gestalt all the time. Sometimes we complete the gestalt in a physical way, and sometimes we complete the gestalt in our head.
Correct.
For example, one of the things we interpret it, the meaning of people. For example, I know why you did it. You did it because da 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 da.
Correct.
It might not be completely not true.
Yes, it
But
would be
we
your
have to
imagination.
complete the gestalt in our head. And that's how we think. It was projected by the founder of Gestalt Therapy, Fritz Perls, because his wife, Laura Perls, was a cognitive psychologist, and he took it and made it also as a form of therapy, meaning combining the shadow and the light together.
Beautiful.
Meaning to say that everything which is subconscious, that really dictates subconsciously how we behave,
Correct.
the moment we lift up and the moment we enhance awareness to the subconscious level, then we can have better choices. For example, let me give you an example. For example, if I am part of a group and I realize that I have all the time a competition with the facilitator,
Okay.
which happens in a lot of groups.
Okay.
Now, when I go deep, I realize that it's very difficult for me to accept authority,
Oh.
which goes down
Down to my
to the
subconscious.
history, to the subconscious level.
Okay.
What do I have a relationship with authority? And the first authority figure is our parents.
Our parents.
Yeah.
Oh, so true.
So, for example, subconsciously, if I did not give myself permission to be a rebel against my father and mother, because that's the education I got, subconsciously I give myself permission to do the opposite when I am in the group setting. So I become a rebel. But I don't know that I'm doing it. Every time I attack the facilitator, I compare, and I am not aware about my motives, my incentives. If I am aware in therapy, I can realize that what I'm doing with this, it's not the facilitator. I am projecting on the facilitator, and I have to compete with this authority figure. It goes back to my childhood.
So it's a subdued childhood?
Yes. And that's what we do. We
To
do in Gestalt
authority,
therapy. We dig in. We dive in. I call them mental archaeology.
Correct.
And we go back to the source. Where are the perception, the thought, the interpretation, the ideas rooted?
Yeah.
And then we make these ideas and make this applicable to the past, so that whatever happened in the past will stay as a memory, but will not impact the present. In the present, there will be a new, fresh look of making choices. Otherwise, it is contaminated by the past. When it is contaminated by the past, we cannot make clear decisions. Because I relate to you not as you, I relate to you as another figure. And this is, of course, for example, how do I define, how do I know that I work from the subconscious level? Let's say there is an event, all right? And there is a normal response. However, if I respond disproportionately, totally, to that event, it means that the relevance of event, stimulus and response is not there. I operate from a completely different level,
Okay.
which is subconscious. And if I want to make it more proportionate, I need to go on to see what it is, what happened, why do I react to this person in that way. For example, you meet people and you know nothing about them, but you feel,
Oh yes,
something
the
is wrong.
natural antipathy.
Yeah, antipathy.
Yes.
But you don't know.
Yeah.
And you just feel the reaction.
Yes.
And let's say your husband asks you, what do you have this against this person?
Yes.
Said, I don't know, but just stay out.
Yes.
I
don't
can't.
feel good energy.
If we go deeper, you see that person reminds you subconsciously of something. It could be his eyes, it could be the hair, it could be the voice tone, it could be something in the appearance that clicks and brings up from the past a figure that you had what we call in Gestalt unfinished business with.
Oh,
And
that's
this is
such a,
projected to the figure in present.
that's such an interesting thought
was-
as a cognitive how the brain works
Yes,
and how memories are stored in the subconscious and how they resurface once a trigger is
Exactly.
put forward. Okay, doctor. So my second question is, can you apply the techniques of Gestalt therapy in parenting?
well, of course. It's very important because when I become a parent, I am aware that I am a parent. When I'm not aware that I carry inside myself the inner child in me,
Okay.
then I'm not aware.
Okay.
So usually when I do parenting, I consciously understand this is a parent's job, but subconsciously I relate to the child either the opposite, like I was treated as a child,
Correct.
whether I repeat exactly the same.
Correct.
Most of the time, subconsciously, my child in me want to feel different. For example, if I felt abandoned, I felt like an orphan, although I had physical parents.
Not
I was
loved.
not loved. So what I do is either I develop overprotecting behavior
Okay.
over the child because I subconsciously say I don't want my child to go through
What I went.
which of course doesn't really help the child to grow up, because when I do overprotecting, I really send the message I don't trust you enough,
True. Very true.
and I don't let the child grow up.
Yeah.
So a lot of roles subconsciously as parents are carried from our own childhood. And for example, when a parent is not able to execute authority,
Correct. Today I see that a lot happening.
a lot.
Where parents are kind of desperate, they don't know how to tackle their children, they are not asserting themselves, and the generation we came from is like we subdued to whatever our parents said.
Exactly.
But today children are extremely demanding and extremely, I feel, difficult to handle also.
Absolutely correct. And the reason is because, children do change. It's
Yes.
a new era.
Yes.
It's a new era. Children give
It's a
themselves
new
permission
era.
and freedom to say whatever they think, to
Yes.
behave the way. However, the one who needs to change is us, parents, not
So
them.
true.
They
Okay.
come as is. If we don't learn how to relate to the children, in the generation of our parents,
Yes.
the art of communication was the status. I'm your dad, and that's why you need to be
Oh,
obedient.
so true.
Today, status doesn't mean anything. It's about respect and relationship. So the authority of your dad, he didn't have to work for this for being authoritative. It was the status, social status of teachers and parents that the children need to be submissive and obedient.
Correct.
Now, the status
Has changed.
has changed and doesn't have, no, the status is status, but the essence of the relationship which will obtain respect is not because of the status, it's because of the relationship and the communication. You have to earn your respect
Oh
today.
my gosh.
If you don't earn the respect, you lose it.
Yes. Basically, the generations we come from, we were more duty bound.
Exactly.
Today, the definition of the word duty has changed. That's what my observation is. And maybe I feel a lot of onus goes on the social media. In the sense, there's so many new thought processes, so many new ways, and children are being exposed
Sure.
24/7. So social media and the kind of content you're watching plays a big role in how the children are behaving. This is what my observation, and I feel parents who are today, both parents are working
Yes.
and they don't have the time. So for them, parenting is a task.
Well, parenting is a task. What changes is the way. What changes is the art of relating to your children. If you relate to your children as a small adult,
Correct.
not as an object,
Correct.
and you don't relate to your child as an object they need to obey,
Yeah.
because it's a changing world and you respect it, then the whole art of communicating is different. And what happens, unfortunately, the parents do not learn this change. Parent needs to learn the art of communication. Parent needs to learn how to listen, for example.
Oh,
because that's a big issue.
Big issue.
Parents usually do not listen, just give orders, give instructions.
Yes.
And then when the children do not execute the instruction, they get so furious, and then they use aggression. The moment they use aggression, you lose it.
It's a vicious circle.
Yes, it is a vicious circle.
It's a vicious
So
circle.
the art of listening is important. The art of assertion is important. Many skills that in the previous era parents did not need to learn because the culture was giving instructions and being obedient.
Yeah.
Now it's a challenge.
Yes.
Parents need to acquire new skills.
Yes.
That's
Very
why it has to be mandatory for every parent to learn the necessary skills.
So true. So true. In one of your YouTube videos, Professor, I had heard you talk on money, and you have made a very nice statement that money is energy.
Yes.
Can you throw a little bit of light on that?
Yes, what I did the video and also the book that is going to be very soon. It's called Money is Not Just a Paper Bill.
Money
Is not just a paper bill.
just not a paper bill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Meaning to say that there is a psychology around money. A lot of things like trust, liability, responsibility, accountability, assertion, self-esteem. So many things around money because money is a very important issue in our lives.
Yeah.
And what I elaborated is, I talk a lot about the psychology of money, meaning to say that it is a very essential part of who we are and how we communicate. However, I see, unfortunately, so many families that are totally broken as a result of money. I see siblings get into court as a result of inheritance. I see husband and wife what happens in divorce, for example. Two things: property, money, and children.
True.
And if you don't know how to mediate in the right way, it can become hell.
Yes.
You can be a business associate,
Right.
and you can lose your trust totally if you realize that your partner does not operate from dignity and equality.
Yeah.
A lot of issues come with what money is involved, because money is not just a paper bill. Money is an energy that clarifies exactly what it is. It takes you out of ambiguity.
Mm-hmm.
For example, when you say, yes, I'm interested in doing something,
Correct.
the question is, are you committed? The movement from being interested
to
to
commitment.
commit is money.
Is
Are
money?
Are you willing
Oh my
to
God.
take from your pocket and say, yes, I want to commit for that?
Oh yes.
For example, you're giving counseling, right?
Yes. Yes.
You know, counseling is money involved.
Yes.
So from the person who calls you and said, yeah, I've heard about you, I would like to come to counseling, and that's fine. The moment it comes to commitment means I'm ready to pay.
Correct.
So if
Correct.
I'm not ready to pay, I'm not really committed.
True.
Because commitment is measured by 3 parameters: time, energy, and money.
Once again.
Time,
Time.
energy, and money. For example, if you have a client, you can sense his or her commitment by devoting the time,
True.
putting energy in the sense that the person is interested to work with him or herself, and the willingness to pay money for the service.
That's an excellent perspective
That's
for
commitment.
the general population also to understand what exactly is commitment.
Exactly. Commitment can be measured. If somebody tells you, oh yes, I'm committed to my family,
Okay.
I can challenge this person and say, you're saying you're committed, but you're not, because you don't devote the time, you don't devote the energy, and you're not willing to
Spend money.
spend money on the welfare of the family.
Oh, fantastic.
So
Oh.
commitment, I can really challenge somebody who says I'm committed with these three parameters. Are you really committed? And it goes about family, about couplehood,
In any relationship?
in any relationship. For example, friends,
Correct.
friendship. Yeah, friendship needs to be maintained.
True.
If friendship is not maintained, the friendship will not last.
True.
Now, how it's going to be maintained? Devoting time, devoting energy,
Correct.
and also agreeing to spend money together. You want to go to a spa, you want to go to a movie.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah?
Yes.
And
very
you
true.
always, when you have friends, for example, as I write in the book, you have friends that go overseas.
Yeah.
There'll always be somebody who will say, "Oh, I just forgot my wallet. Oh, my checkbook is just finished. Could you pay for me?"
Yes.
And then he or she forgets totally that,
Yes.
yeah, and he will not return it. So, and we'll all be people like this.
Yes.
So, and then you say to yourself, "He didn't pay." And you never forget that. He didn't pay. Oh, he always counts on me.
Yes.
And it comes, for example, dating. Dating is a very interesting issue because you go to the first date. Who pays?
Oh yeah.
Is it half-half? Is it the duty of the man? Is it the duty of the woman?
Today's
Well,
changed world.
exactly.
Yes.
So the whole discussion about this, you move in, your partners, not necessarily married. Who's in charge of groceries? Oh, you pay your partner in the same apartment. I mean, what's going on? Who pays for what?
True.
What are the priorities?
True.
How do you make priorities what is important?
True.
You can buy Nutella
Mm-hmm.
and you can buy a very other chocolate thing. So between couples, that could be a huge argument. I want to have a brand new car. I want to move to a new apartment.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you see the different styles. No, we don't need to. We can stay 40 years in the same car, 40 years in the same apartment.
Yeah.
And you can get into so many clashes.
Yes.
Because that really defines a lot.
This reminds me of a small incident in my life when I was just newly married. I was just 24, 25. And I had a friend who had grown up children, and I was staying that time with my in-laws. So, since we come from a typical Marwadi family where the women don't work and the men work and they're the breadwinners of the house. So, this friend of mine had a son who got married, and one day she came and asked me, "Sheela, you live with your in-laws. Are you paying for your stay?" Can you believe it? I was totally, I didn't understand.
Shocked.
I was shocked. I just could not understand the context of that question. But today, in perspective, when I see, it was such a valid question. When you say commitment,
Yeah.
when you say commitment, when you say awareness, when you say being there for what you are. So,
This issue of money is so important
yes,
to lift up the curtain and talk directly about it.
yeah,
Because we tend to suppress it, we tend not to talk about it. It's embarrassing.
yes,
It's
it is
not-
embarrassing.
For
most of the
example,
time.
talk about when you have a second marriage, talk about a pre-agreement. You know how many people do not sign pre-agreement,
The prenup?
the prenup?
Okay.
Because then the other person, do you really love me?
Oh, commitment.
You don't love me if you force
Correct.
me to do prenup. And then when
Correct.
something happens,
Correct.
you know, boof, what happens with the property? Because the children are worried about whether this is going to be inherited to them or not,
Yes.
and they face
Insecurity.
insecurity and anger towards the new person
Oh,
because they are afraid that he or she will take the property that they deserve.
a lot of negative emotion.
A lot of negative.
Wow.
So sensitive. That's why it's so important to have a clear discussion,
Yes.
clear, open discussion.
Yes, so true. Thank you, Professor. Thank you so much for the great insight you could throw on the three key topics which I was actually looking forward to discuss with you. That is what the therapy is about, how is parenting in today's modern generation, and of course, money.
So look in the next 4 months for 2 books.
Oh,
One is called Boundaries with a Smile,
Boundaries with a Smile.
Guide for Smart Parenting.
Guide for Smart Parenting.
The second
Wow.
is Money is not just a paper bill.
And
Handbook of
money
Money
is
and
not
Relationships.
a paper bill. Excellent. Thank you so much, Professor, for being there on this couch and throwing a lot of deep insight into how the mind thinks and how we behave. Eventually, all this affects our behavior.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. I
Thank
keep
you.
welcoming you to India, and I'll see you again in February of 2024.
Yes.
Thank you.